So welcome to the second part of inheritance. Now, in this lesson I want to talk about member access and inheritance. Member access and inheritance. So we said that the subclass includes all of the members of its superclass, but cannot, or rather I am saying it for the first time, that a subclass includes all of the members of its superclass but cannot access those members of the superclass that are declared as private. Okay, so remember when we declare a member class or a data type or a class as private, it can only be accessed within its scope. I talked about scope, and as much as a subclass can access the elements or the members of its superclass, it can only access the members of its superclass that are declared as public, those that are public, and not the ones that are actually declared as private. Now we can best understand this by literally doing it. So I'm going to put a comment here and say create a superclass. We are creating a superclass, and you just want to say class A. Just use the same class name that we have used in the previous example. We say class A, and here you're going to say int I. You're declaring an integer, but this int I here, let me just put a comment here, because we have not declared it as private. It is by default public, so I can say public by default. So that means the integer I is public. Then we can declare another integer that is private, so we can say private int j. And when I say private int j, I will also put a comment here and say this one is private to A. In other words, it can only be accessed in the scope of A and the methods that are declared inside A. Okay, now let's continue. So let's create a method, and this method we are going to use it to set the values of I and j. So let's say void set ij as our method, and this method is going to take two parameters. The first is going to take x and y, int x and int y, and then we are going to set these parameters. We say I is equal to x, and we say j is equal to y. J is equal to y. So we are using this method to set up our parameters. It is a method of the class A. So I want us to actually end this class there, and the next thing that I want us to do is I want us to create a subclass by extending our superclass A. So I'll say class B and say extends A. Class B extends A. Class B extends A, and we are going to give our class B an additional element, that is total. So we say int total because we want to get the total of these values, and then we are going to give it a method that we can use it to get the sum of I and j. Notice something. I'm going to say void sum as our method, void sum as our method, and then I have those curly braces. Now what I'm trying to do here, I want to actually access j from the class A that was declared private. This should give us an error because I'm trying to access a member of a superclass that is declared private. So if I say total, notice something. If I say total is equal to I, then I say plus j, boom, already you see an error. If we hover to this error, now you see the field AJ is not visible. The field AJ is not visible. Why is it saying the field AJ is not visible? Simply because we have declared j as private here. Notice if I remove this private keyword here, now the error disappears. If I remove the private keyword, the error disappears. Okay, so let me return the private keyword. Let's finish the program. Now we have that error here. That error is actually sustained. Let me put a comment and say error, because we expect that error, because we are actually violating access. We can also put another comment here for just to make our code understandable. We can say is sj means the variable j declared in A is not accessible here. So we're not able to access sj here. Now the reason is because it's declared as private. Alright guys, okay, sorry, we need to move all this stuff that we have written here to up here. We need to move it below the package here. We are not supposed to have it inside the main. Yeah, below. So in the main now, in the main we want to create a sub object from B. So let's say B sub ob is equal to new B. B sub ob is equal to new B. And then what we are trying to do here is we want to set the sub object. We want to set the values I and j for the sub object. So we're going to say sub ob is equal to sub ob dot, it should be sub ob dot set ij, then we supply the values. Let's supply the values 10 and 12. Let's supply the values, or 10 and 20. Okay, supply the values 10 and 20 in there. Okay, remember the error is still sustained up there. Just want to show you how it's going to behave if we remove the error. So then I want us to actually get the sum. So to get the sum, we say sub ob, then we invoke sum, sub ob dot sum, then let's actually print the total, because you're getting total there. Let's print the total. So system.out.println, and what we are trying to print here is, let's just say total is, and then out here let's add an empty space, then we add the total. So accessing the total, we need to say sub ob dot total. Sub ob dot total is what we are actually trying to really access at this point. Sub ob dot total is what we are trying to access. Now notice the error is here. The field A is not visible. So if we because we cannot access this. So if we remove private, I want you to see, if we remove the word private, now this program will run without errors. So you can run this program and check what is happening. When we check the output, total is what? Is 30. This is what is printed here. Total is 30. But as long as we have declared j as private, then the error comes back. Why? Because, and notice the error is not actually here. The error is on line 17, and it says that a.j is not visible, because we are trying to access j here, which is actually not visible. So the program won't compile, since the use of j inside the sum method of B is going to cause what we call access violation, because j is declared as private, and because since j is declared as a private, it is only accessible by the other members that are in its class. So the members that are in the class A only can access it. So subclasses don't have access to members of a superclass that are declared to that are declared as private. They don't have access to ones that are declared as private. Now maybe this one doesn't look like a real stuff, so let's look at a more practical example. So I'm going to to just remove this. I don't want to create a new class. I'm just going to remove all this up to here. So I want us to let's extend the final version of a box class that we had, so that we can include a fourth component, that is the weight. The previous one we had length, width, and height, but now we want to actually extend that final version of a box. In other words, we inherit from box, so that now the subclass that we're going to inherit from box will be able to include the fourth component, which is weight. So we are creating a new class that will contain width, height, depth, and even weight, using the concept of inheritance. So let's begin from the beginning. Of course, I know you have such a program already. You might be having it. Let me see if I have it somewhere here in my programs. No, I do not have it. But for you, you have it. You can go back and edit that program. But for me, I'm gonna start afresh for the sake of anybody who is following now. So the class box, which is our super class, has double width, it has double width, it has double height, it has double depth. This is now our super class. It has the three variables. Then let's construct a clone of an object. So construct a clone of an object. So to do that, we need to say box, the class name. Then this object is going to take in an object from the same from the class box. So what we are actually doing on this line number 11 here, let me just put a comment. We are passing an object to the constructor, or to constructor, because this is a default, is a clone of an object. So we are passing the object ob to the constructor. Then we will have to now assign this value. We say width is going to be ob dot width, and then we say height is gonna be ob dot height. Alright, then we also say that depth is gonna be ob dot depth. It's gonna be ob dot depth. So we have our object clone ready right there. We have our object clone ready right there. So the next thing we need to create, we were having a constructor that is going to be used when we create a box that has no dimensions specified. So let me just put a comment and say constructor used when no dimensions specified. When we do not specify dimensions, we need to have a constructor to use. So let's create the constructor. We said constructor follows the syntax of methods, just that they do not have return types, because the default return types is what the class returns or the object returns. So we to initialize our dimensions to just show an initialized box, we are going to initialize them to -1. So we're going to say width is equal to -1. We're going to say height is also -1. We're going to say depth is also -1. So we're going to initialize all these to -1, because we want -1 to just represent a box that is not initialized. A box that is not initialized. A box that is not initialized. Okay. Alright, so let's continue. Now we have a constructor when dimensions are not specified. Then we need to also have a constructor when we specify a cube. When we specify a cube, we need to also have a constructor for that scenario or for that situation. When you just want to provide one dimension and then a cube is created. So let's say a constructor when a cube is created. Constructor when a cube is created. So we're going to say box, and this one is going to take one measurement. So double length, it's going to take length, and then here we need to equate that length to all these because it's gonna be the same. So width is equal to height and is equal to depth. Then we equate all this to length is equal to length. Okay, so this one will actually be used when we supply a single measurement. Now let's have a method that is going to compute and return the volume. So we compute and return volume. A method that will compute and return volume is what you're going to have. Now the method is returning double, and the name for the method is volume. And basically let's not give it anything that it takes in. We give it curly braces, and what we want it to return is basically the product of these three dimensions. So width multiplied by height multiplied by depth. Width multiplied by height multiplied by depth is what we now have. Okay, so we are done with this class to that juncture. Now we want to create another class that is going to inherit our box class. So we are creating a subclass, and we call that subclass box weight. So let me just put a comment here and say extending box to include weight. We are extending box so that it can include weight. Extending box to include weight. So to do that, we need to say box, because we use box to actually create. So box weight is now the subclass that we want to create. Then first of all, we need to begin with the word class. So class, then box weight extends box, because we are inheriting from our box class. So box weight extends box, and then this one will have an additional element, that is weight. So we say double weight, we declare double weight in there, and then we need to create a constructor for this particular box. We need to create a constructor for this box. So to do that, let me just put a comment here and say constructor for box weight. Constructor for box weight. We are creating a constructor for box weight, so we need to have the name box, and then this constructor is going to take four parameters. So we have double width, so double W, then we have double H, then we have double, sorry, this is supposed to be a box weight, because we are creating a constructor for box weight. It's supposed to be box weight. Double W, double H, and we have double D for depth. Then we need to have weight. We can't use W because W is already there, so we can just say double M to stand for weight. And then we need to come here and set up these values. Here we need to say width is equal to W. We say height is equal to H. I explained in the previous classes why I'm not using the same variables here, that is width, height, because we are trying to avoid hiding like these variables hiding the others. So then we have depth, and depth is actually D. And then last but not least, we have weight, and weight here is represented using M. Weight is represented using M. So there we are, we have our constructor. Our constructor is now ready, so we can go to the main. I don't know why I always forget and I write all this thing in the main. Okay, let's move it be, below the package up there. Sorry for that, guys. I need to, all this code is supposed to be below the package, outside the main here, so that now we can come to the main. Now we can come to the main here in the public static void main. Then inside there is now we can continue writing our code. So first of all, I want to us to create sorry guys, I want us to create two boxes. The first one is my box 1, the second one is my box 2. So to do that, of course, we need to say box weight, because we are creating objects of box weight. So box weight, then my box 1 is the object name is equal to new box weight is equal to new box weight, and we are giving it 4 values. The first one is going to be 10, the second one is going to be 20, the third one is going to be 15, the fourth one is going to be 34.6, where 34.6 represents the weight. I'm going to create a second object, box weight. This is my box 2. My box 2 is equal to new box weight is equal to new box weight is equal to new box weight. I'm gonna give it different values this time. I'm gonna give it 2, 3, 4, 0.23, and there we go. You can create a third one if you want. For example, let's say okay, let's just work with the 2 in the meantime. Don't want to cloud this code. Let's have double. I'm trying to put things simple so that you can understand. I'm still giving you the basics. Yeah, but we will start flying in few weeks. We'll start flying in few weeks. So double, then we need to get the volume of my box 1. So we need to assign, we say vol is equal to my box 1, then we call the method, we invoke the volume method there. Alright, yeah, we invoke the volume method there. Again, let's print the volume for this box and also the weight for this box. So we can say system route dot print ln, and we say volume of my box 1, and then we come out here. Let's give it some space. Let's give it vol. Then let's print the weight for my box 1. So we can say system route dot print ln, and we say weight of my box 1, and what we are printing here, let's give it some space, and what we are literally printing out here is the weight. So we just say my box 1 dot weight, because that's what we want to print. We can do the same for my box 2. So we can say vol is equal to my box 2 dot volume, because we are getting the volume for my box 2, and then we need to print the volume. So we'll say system dot out dot print ln. We are printing the volume, so we can say volume of my box 2 and then we give it some space, then we actually print vol at that level. Again, let's print the weight also. So system.out.println, you can say weight of my box 2. We give it some space again. Okay, we need to give a plus, then give a spaces, quotation marks, then we give a plus, then we give my box 2 dot weight at that level, my box 2 dot weight at that level. So guys, to this juncture, we can also get let me see if there is anything else that we declared in here. We have double. All right. So we have actually extended this. So let's run this and see how it's behaving. Let's come check the output here. Let's say errors exist. Okay. Let's see what exception thread main. No such method. Lesson.box method void int not found. Simple inheritance.java 37. Just a moment. I want to see. Yeah, the issue is, I think it's okay. I said here class box. Now class box is actually probably we have used. Let me just open these other ones and see if this happening. Let's see the error. The type box is already defined. Yeah, so we have some code here that has yes, we have some code that has probably has that. Let me just delete this other code. I did not remember if I have a method. I'm going to cover this much later. I'm going to show you why it's when you are giving the same class names you are getting errors. I'm going to cover it later. I don't want to talk about it now. So let me just delete this. Let's see if we can eliminate the issue. Let's see if we can eliminate the issue. I think the error is now gone. Yeah. So one of those files that I have deleted had I had the class box in there, so they were conflicting because they are in the same package. So see, right now we are getting the volume of my box 1 3000, weight of my box 1 that one, volume of my box 2 this one, weight of my box 1, box 2 this one. Now that is now a more practical example. So a major advantage of inheritance is that once you have actually created a superclass that is defining the attributes that are common to a set of objects, then you can use that superclass to create any number of more specific subclasses that you want. So guys, let me stop there for this part. Let's meet you in part 3 of inheritance, where we will be talking about superclass variable referencing as a subclass.